Sometimes hard work really does pay off, but not always. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 rarest video game weapons. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the video game weapons that are extremely difficult to come by. There's a lot of things that make items rare. Drop rates, progression requirements, and the all too familiar loot boxes play a frustrating role. But regardless of what precisely makes them so scarce, our list is focusing exclusively on weapons. There are tons of super rare items and armor out there, but that's not what we're looking for today. Number 10, Inferno Staff Sharpened, Elder Scrolls Online. Head up to Hrothgar in ESO and you'll find yourself in the Maelstrom Arena, a single-player endurance test that gets progressively more challenging. Waiting for you at the end of each run is some randomly generated loot, and if you're particularly lucky, this super rare weapon as well. And we do mean rare, as many players have made hundreds of runs through the dungeon without seeing a single drop. On the bright side though, that just means you have plenty of attempts to keep you busy, so get cracking. Number 9, Titan, EVE Online. We figured that if you can just take the time to round up materials in order to craft exactly what you want, that thing really can't be all that rare. But EVE's 15-kilometer-long doomsday super weapon carrying warships proved us kinda wrong. There are 4 Titan-class ships in the game, one for every major faction: the Amarr Avatar, the Kaldari Leviathan, the Galenta Erebus, and the Minmatar Ragnarok. On top of all the resources you need to actually start building one of these frickin' things, they also require 8 real-world weeks to actually construct. So you know what that means? If you don't have a big enough group dedicated to the cause, you're definitely not getting one, dude. Number 8, Excalibur II, Final Fantasy IX. Not actually dropped by an enemy in the game, this unorthodox weapon has 2 very unique unlock requirements. First, players have to beat the game in under 12 hours of clocked playtime. And second, they have to know ahead of time to search a random pillar in one of the game's final rooms in order to actually collect the blade. That doesn't sound too bad, but keep in mind that this is a typically lengthy JRPG that takes your average gamer about 40 hours to complete. 12 is basically a speed run. Number 7, the Supremacy, Destiny. Going above and beyond its legendary classification by being exclusively dropped in a timed event that lasted for just about 2 weeks, the Supremacy was the ultimate reward for those dedicated players that put their life on hold to run the Queen's Wrath over and over and over. Sure, it's a little unfair that if you were busy working or just plain didn't have access to your computer, you missed out entirely, but the relative few that got lucky have a pretty special badge of honor. Number 6, Cranium Basher, Diablo II. There's just something kind of therapeutic about going through some magic find runs in Blizzard's loot-driven classic to find unique items, and it's even more exciting when you get rewarded with things like this ultra-rare maul. Is it good? Well, that's debatable, but it's been around for almost 12 years, and hardcore players still get excited when one drops. With a laughably high item level of 91, there aren't many enemies that can actually drop it, and the odds aren't very good for those that can, so good luck. Number 5, Dragonlore AWP, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The AWP is a much beloved and much hated weapon in the Counter-Strike world, but if you want this valuable, obnoxious looking skin for it, you're gonna have to be either extremely good or very, 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 very rich. Found only in loot boxes or cases that drop exclusively in Valve-sponsored tournament play, this skin is so highly sought after that some particularly dedicated fans are willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars if it's in new condition. It may look kinda cool displayed in your collection, but we imagine that it would be hard to pass up the sale if you happen to be sitting on one. Number 4, Phantom Bow, Battlefield 4. The good news when it comes to Battlefield 4's arguably coolest weapon is that once you unlock it, it's yours, so congrats. The bad news is that we're not sure the original progression chain to get there is really worth it. First, you have to complete the 3 Phantom assignments. Then you need to load up into specific DLC maps and pore over every nook and cranny until you find the final stand dog tags. Then, all you have to do is find 3 friends who each completed the steps above, make it down the elevator in Hangar 21, and crack the code to deactivate the barrier separating you from the weapon. Easy peasy, right? Number 3, Diamond Wisenheimer, Borderlands 2. The fact that this series absolutely showers you with loot at every opportunity can make it a little difficult to keep track of what is and what isn't worth your time. So here's your friendly PSA. If you want the rarest of the rare guns, this is what you're looking for. The estimated pathetically low 0.05% drop would be bad enough if it came from regular encounters, but the fact that you basically have to watch Butt Stallion barf out your hard-earned iridium for days until you get lucky just adds to the agony of each and every time you fail. Number 2, Sothian Firestick, World of Warcraft. While the class-specific quest lines that dominated the early days of the game were a cool concept on paper, seeing how sadistically Blizzard used the feature has us glad they're gone. The runner-up entry is a unique drop for hunters that was hidden away exclusively behind a boss that only warlocks had access to. If that's not bad enough, the quest chain for the item was completely removed for new players. So if you're playing today, your only hope is to find a player who originally completed the quest to retain access to it. And runs don't come cheap, even if they fail. Number 1, Prophets of Motav, Phantasy Star Online. Hey, you wanted to see something special, so here it is. PSO's rarest weapon was more common in the GameCube and Xbox iterations, but the classic Dreamcast version dropped in exactly one location, the ruins on Ultimate Difficulty, by exactly one monster, the Grand Sorcerer. The kick? Well, its drop rate was an absolutely ridiculous 1 per 1.3 million. No, that's not a mistake. That's 1 out of every 1.3 million. We cannot imagine ever wanting to play the game again after all that effort. But hey, maybe the weapon is worth it. Lots of people are still playing their Dreamcasts, right? Ryan? Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.